Good morning, good afternoon, and happy Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Today is April 25th, and we could not be happier that you are spending your Sunday morning with us in Congregation Beth Ahaba. We, of course, wish we could be together, but we're glad you're joining us virtually today. We're going to begin our worship as we always do. We're going to rise together and face the Nagel Yisrael, the flag of Israel, if you have one. If not, we're going to put the flag of Israel in our hearts as we turn together to page 1.
Page 1, that's my favorite page.
My favorite page 2 for Hatikva.
Kolot balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homiha ulfate mizrach kadima ayin letzion et Sophia. Od lovda tikvatenu, hatikva bachnot alpayim, liotam chovshi be'aretzenu, Eretz Zion, Yerushalayim, liotam chovshi be'aretzenu, Eretz Zion, Yerushalayim.
Okay. You may be seated because it's time for
Torah.
Torah. Today, April 25th, our Torah portion is
And more.
and more. So, we are talking again about the priests. That's what we did last week, and that's what we did the week before that, because the book of Leviticus,
Yes.
which we are reading now, is really called the Priestly Handbook, or the Holiness Code, or the Book of the Priests, because it is all about the priests.
How Levitical.
How Levitical. What does Levitical mean, Cantor?
Over pertaining to Levites.
However, of and pertaining to Levites. And if you had to define Levites, how would you translate Levite?
People from the priestly tribe.
People from the priestly tribe. So if you wanted to say Levitical means of and pertaining to priests, that would be fairly good definition.
Yeah.
Hence the book of
Leviticus.
By the way, in Hebrew, we don't call it the book of Leviticus.
Not at all.
We call it,
Vayikra.
which means,
And he spoke.
because, as I keep saying,
Or actually, and he called out.
and he called out, because as I keep saying, we hear God calling out to Moses
Moses.
and Aaron, telling them to call
this.
out
Do that. Do this.
to the entire Israelite people and tell them to do this
Do that.
and do
this.
that. Here, we're talking about the priests setting the times for the calendars.
Yay.
And the priests were in charge of this, among other things. Priests serve as the health department. They served as
Right.
the building code managers.
Right.
They served as the priests served as
In a lot of
a
capacities.
lot of different things. And one of their roles was to keep the calendar. Now think about who keeps the calendar in your house. Because in my house, the other Rabbi Nagel keeps the calendar. And it is a calendar made of paper that she writes in pencil, which blows my mind. Because, I sync up to the cloud, and I do the on my phone, and I never worry about it. But this calendar has all of our doctor's appointments and all of the sporting events and all of the important birthdays and holidays in it. And I worry about this calendar because calendars are important. We organize our lives around the calendars. And that is the message for the Torah portion of this week. The priests are given a calendar in order to organize Jewish life and Jewish ritual. And we're told that the most important day on the calendar is
Shabbat.
Shabbat. And Shabbat is a holiday that comes once every
Week.
and it starts on
Friday night.
and ends on.
Saturday night.
That's correct. And that is the pivotal point around which we are supposed to organize our lives. And that is what the priests do, is they organize all of the activities of the camp around
The calendar.
Shabbat. And
Shabbat.
the calendar. Including,
The 50-50 shot.
it was, and that's it. So think about whoever manages the calendar in your house, because it's not an easy task, and thank them and give them a big hug. And when they say why, tell them because you keep the calendar, and then therefore we can organize our lives around it. So thank you, plus Rabbi said to. Okay? All right.
All right.
So now it's time to rise for our call to worship. Page 3.
Page 3. That's my favorite
Page 3 is my favorite page. Let's get ready to pray.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Excellent work, everyone. And while we remain standing, I ask you to turn to page 4.
Page 4. That's my favorite page.
My favorite page, too. And I ask you, how many God is there? One God.
One.
So let's do it. Shema together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. Okay, it's time for the Midah of the week, April 25th. And it is the Midah of awe.
Awesome.
Awesome. And how do you say awesome in Hebrew?
Yirah.
Yirah. As Cantor said, awe is the first part of awesome. Like, awesome, dude.
Totally not.
So, what we're talking about is something that inspires you, something that is reverent, something that is moving, something that is
Solemn.
solemn.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But something that is bigger than ourselves, something that is bigger than most people, something that makes us feel human
And small.
and small. Sometimes we can see the awe of creation when we see a really big mountain or a really big sea or all the stars in the sky. And we were like, wow, that is
Awesome.
awesome. Meaning, it makes me feel awe. It makes me feel wonder, and it makes me understand that there's something bigger than myself, and it makes me feel small and human. Now, if you were to think about yourself, right, and hopefully you read in your book today, the fact that our brains work and our bodies work and that a vaccine was invented in a year and that we were able to connect on Zoom and that, what else, Cantor?
All kinds of stuff.
That airplanes work, that all kinds of stuff. There is so much to be awe-inspired about humanity and the world that we live in. And therefore, we want to see God in all of that. Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of my favorite rabbis, said that we should live each day and each moment looking to be completely wowed, completely awed. That we should live our lives to make sure to recognize that there's at least one thing in our lives every day that is awesome, that we say wow to. So I want you to think this whole week when we celebrate this Midah of Yirah, of awe, think about at least once a day something that makes you say wow or awesome and recognize all of the awe that is in this world. Anything to add, Cantor?
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Well, that brings us to the Hebrew word of the day. And of course, they are connected because the Hebrew word of today, Cantor, is I.
I, which in Hebrew is
Ani. So it's not I the letter, it's I the word,
The
which
pronoun.
is also a letter and a pronoun. Ani. So when you think about yourself, your I, the I that is you, when you think about I and about how you relate to the awesome world, right? We know that I is, in Hebrew,
Ani.
Ani. And Ani in English is,
I.
and how are we going to remember that, Cantor?
So I see that our book has the U bolded, but really the I should be bolded. So I need you. I need you. And the I should be bolded because the I is the I
is the
sound,
word.
and it's also the
It's
word
also
I.
the thing. That's true. That's true, Cantor. Very good reading about the bolding. But Ani, do you.
I
Ani,
need
do
do
you.
you.
Ani,
Very Elvis.
do you.
Very
It's
Elvis.
very Elvis. Ani, do you. But I, in Hebrew, is
Ani.
Ani. And Ani in English is
You, me, I.
I. Cantor, it's I.
I can't get it. It's I.
In Hebrew is ani, and ani in English is?
It's I.
There you go, Cantor. Excellent work. We're going to do something new today. We're going to make sure that we know the Micha Mocha, so everyone turn to page 5.
Page 5, that's my favorite page.
And get out your following finger. The Cantor's going to lead us in Micha Mocha for the next 2 weeks. Micha Mocha is our song of freedom. And we need to know it. It happens in both the evening and the morning service.
This is the morning version.
This is the morning version, the bar and bat mitzvah version for the morning.
For the morning service, yes. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, noratehi lo tosefele, noratehi lo tosefele. Shira chadasha shebechu gehulim, l'shimcha l'sfat hayom, yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu v'hameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
That is a great song of freedom. We're going to practice that again. All right, well, we're going to close it out now with Ose Shalom, page 9.
Page 9, that's my favorite. Ose Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imiru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imiru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imiru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imiru amen. V'imiru amen.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Sunday, Sunday,
Sunday.